Yo, what's good, everybody? Jordan here, back with another trade breakdown video. I hope everybody's having a blessed and productive day. Yo, what's good, everybody? Jordan here, back with another trade breakdown video. I hope everybody's having a blessed and productive day. In this video, I'm going to be going over two trades that I took this week on US30, both coming from the 1 hour and the 15-minute time frame. Mostly the 15 minutes just to get my entries correct, and a little bit of the 5-minute as well. Real quick, I will say I've been slacking on the videos, and I just want to make you guys a promise that I'm going to do better at that. I've just been in a little bit of a rut as far as what kind of content you guys are going to be stoked to watch, what kind of content I'm going to have fun making. But honestly, I just like going back to these trade videos, these trade breakdown videos, just because I think that for right now that these can help somebody the most for me, and as far as my journey is going. And if I can just help one trader, up his game, up her game, then I think that I've done my job in these videos. And so with that being said, enough of my talking, I guess, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into the trade. If you can look at the 4 hour right now, you'll notice that we're on an uptrend. And from there, I just want to continue that sentiment. I want to be looking for buys. Not necessarily when price comes down to, the trend line, but the trend line is just there to help me, confirm for myself that we are still in an uptrend, and then I can look for buys. If we start coming down and breaking these highs and making lower lows and lower highs, then we can start to look for sells. But until then, I'm looking for buys, and we're going to ride the wave. Honestly, I've been seeing a lot of people take advantage of some of these buys this week, and it makes me happy because, it's been on a little bit of a bull run, and that's where we can kind of get aggressive a little bit. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, from the 4 hour, we're in an uptrend. So from there, we go down to the 1 hour. And me personally, I like to wait for the New York Stock Exchange to open. And what that does is it gives US30 its volume for the day, and it pushes it in the direction in which it's going to go for the day. So if you follow my crosshairs, and this candlestick is 5 o'clock, 6, 7, at 8 and 8:30, if price were to push down and close below some of these lows, breaking structure, then I would start to feel comfortable looking for sells. But just the fact that when I got onto the 15-minute and 8:30 happened, before 8:30, I'm not going to lie, I was looking for the break of structure in this area, in this green box here. Now, if you're not familiar with just market structure in general, I need you to get familiar with it, because honestly, it's the holy grail of how I and how a lot of traders find their entries and find their edge in the market. So, for example, if price were to stop right here, right? If price were to close or just stop right here, start creating lower lows, lower highs, and going down this way, like I said, then we could start to look for the sells. But I'm going to show you what it did. So at this point, it's 8:30. We got a little bit of volume. I went to the 5-minute and I tried to dissect this a little bit deeper. And what I got, it was something that I was okay with, honestly. And so 8:30, I got the break of structure here. And from there, I'm just feeling okay with entering buys, honestly. And, being well aware of where to put my stop loss, what kind of risk I'm willing to take, and just, letting the trade play out. The only thing about this trade is the fact that I wanted to wait until the 15-minute broke structure and closed above. And I'm saying this now, and I'm remembering the second trade that I took. I don't think that I waited for the full 15-minute breaker structure. I waited for the 5-minute breaker structure. It was clean, and then the retest, I think it was after 8:30, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Anyway, I waited for the nice clean break of structure on the 15-minute. From there, usually I set a buy limit, but for this one I did market execution. It's where I had my first position, stop loss down there. We take our target up for a 2-to-1, and we wait for the pullback. And where the pullback happens, that's where I'll get my entry. Because of the fact that we have now breaking structure, that's my edge. That's my entry. That's where, I've collected the most data, and that's where I'll take this trade every single time. So I'll play the next candle. Boom, there's my entry, market execution. We got my stop loss down here. I'm risking 1%. Next candle, pretty good. Next one, pretty good. And we just let this one play out for the rest of the afternoon. And it plays out and winds up hitting TP at 130. From there, I put my stop loss to break even, and I let the rest run. I'll take 90% of the trade, and like I said, I'll let the rest run. And honestly, I'll just go on with my day. As I'm closely looking at this trade, I think I have my stop loss a little bit lower, maybe underneath these lows under here. But nonetheless, it's still the same amount of risk, still the same entry setup system. And yeah, that was the first trade. So I'm just going to let this play on. I'm going to move to the 4 hour, and actually I'm going to go to the 1 hour and just let this play on. And like I said, just as long as the 4 hour and the trends and your structure is being respected, you can find these trades in a lower time frame during some of the same times of the morning. So that's just something that I've been finding out and realizing lately. Especially this year, as far as this market cycle goes, that after the New York Stock Exchange open, that's usually when I'm finding my edge, and it's been working out for me. Now, if we start going into sales and flipping structure on a higher time frame, then I'll handle that accordingly and handle those positions accordingly, and probably close out some of those positions because I still have 2 running. But nonetheless, at that point, we'll look for sales because, it'll still be the same price action and just a different way, if that makes any sense. So anyway, flipping to the next morning, that was Wednesday morning. This is now Thursday morning. And at this point, we are at 8 o'clock. I'm sorry, we're at 7:45, right before a couple minutes, not really a couple minutes, but almost an hour before the New York Stock Exchange opens. So I'm just kind of chilling right here. I think I took a trade on Euro JP. Well, I'm sorry. I think I missed a trade on Euro JPY while I was waiting for this. I remember feeling super tired this day, and this actually was yesterday, and feeling super tired, super groggy, and I was just didn't feel as focused as I thought I should, and I think that's why I passed up Euro JPY, honestly. But yeah. Anyway, enough of that ranting. So anytime I'm trading US30, like I said, I wait for the New York Stock Exchange to open. I think I've said that like 4 times already. And during the Stock Exchange open, that's where the volume comes in the most. That's where the volume starts to happen, and rightfully so, right? That's when the exchange opens. So when that opens, it's going to push price either one way or the other. It's going to push it down for sales, or it's going to push it up for buys. In this case, we are at 7:45. That's 8 o'clock, 8:15. And I just remember price rejecting. And I'm like, okay, if the exchange opens, then if it rejects low, then more times than not, once the exchange opens, then I think it'll pop high. But if it's rejecting high and the exchange opens, then it'll pull back, pull low to then continue more to the upside. And in this case, it pulled up to pull down and then went higher for a little bit of the break of structure. The only thing with this trade is, and if you listened to me a couple minutes ago, I took this one off of the 5-minute, but I took this one off of the 15-minute. And so with this one, if I were to have waited for the 15-minute to close, I would have missed this trade. But because this closed so strong above this structure after 8:30 with the 8:30 volume, but this right here, with this 8:30 volume, I don't know. I wasn't keen. I wasn't really so sure of this entry. But at the same time, this entry still would have done well as this entry is over here. This entry still would have done well. It would have been in a little bit of drawdown, but it still would have been nice. I mean, maybe you could have taken 2 positions. Shit. But yeah, still would have been nice. But we're over here. So from here, I just waited till price came down and honestly touched this zone here. I was thinking about taking trades when price came down to touch this wick right here, but I just wanted to wait till we came to the top of these wicks, and then I was going to get in market execution. for something that, you know, looks a little bit like this. Stop loss below the lows, just like that. And the next I think the next 2 candles was my entry. So it wasn't this one. And I was honestly thinking about this one, although it would have still been a pretty good, and it would have been a really conservative entry. Nice and early into the move. There's my entry, market execution, and boom. Honestly, it was just such a quick entry and just a quick reaction off of that, you know, off of that this neckline right here. And from there, we get the 5 to 10 minute move, honestly, into my 2 to 1. And it was like that. There it is. There it is. Straight into my 2 to 1. So from there, like I said, like I love to do, I take 90%, move my stop loss to break even, and then I let the rest run. And the beautiful thing about this one, man, is that it looks just like that on the 15 minute, and then it looked like this on the 1 hour. So clearly we were breaking structure here and feeling good about the whole thing. So from there, you know, we can all expect price to come down, retest structure, continue, right? But it didn't do that, and it continued higher. And honestly, it just kept going higher and higher and higher. So we're going to see what next week brings, and, you know, see if we can collect the same moves and the same setups. But if not, if price decides to turn around and, you know, start to head south, then we'll be ready to do so and take opportunities and, you know, take advantage of those sales as well. But from here, I do expect price. Let me just get back to the real time here. I do expect price to kind of pull back. I had this green box here. I do expect price to pull back to this entire level in which it just broke. Expect price to come back, you know, kind of consolidate a little bit, and then, you know, eventually take off, and then hopefully during some type of New York Stock Exchange open, I'll be there and ready to take advantage of the opportunities. Or if price decides not to react off of this area, this neckline, these wicks here, if price decides not to do that and does something like this, close below, retest the neckline to then break structure to create lower lows and lower highs, not only could you take advantage of these sales, but you could also take advantage of these sales down to this area here, see what kind of reaction price gives you, and if it gives you a strong break down below, then you could, you know, still continue with those sales down to the lows over here. But if price does not decide to do that and decides to do something like this, like some bullish confirmations, making a nice maybe inverse head and shoulders, we all know that's a reversal pattern to the upside. So always got to be ready for both scenarios, and got to be ready to take advantage of both scenarios if the opportunity presents itself. So it's good either way. So yeah, you guys, that's pretty much the trade. I'm not really sure how long this video is. And yeah, that's just my trades on US30. That's the edges that I've been finding, and they've just been coming and happening, setting up for me after the stock exchange opened. So I hope somebody learned something from this video today. I'm definitely been learning a lot about myself and a lot about my strategy and my trading just this year, just in quarter 2. You know, maybe I found a good edge for myself. I'm not really sure. But I do think that, you know, when you find a wave, just keep it simple. Figure out what the highs and lows are. Figure out where the structure is and look for the breaks of structure. Once you get that break of structure, that's where your edge is. That's where an end edge lies. And that's where you can take advantage and either go in for the buys or go in for the sells. More times than none, the buys work out for me more than the sells. That's just what it is. So yeah, don't want to make this video too much longer. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. For anybody who's watching, I just butchered that so bad. I appreciate you guys for anybody who's watching. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.